So we're still here in lockdown for the second month now. I think the novelty has officially worn off. I would very much like to get back to normal, but never mind. I've decided now to have a new project, but I'm now making some masks for my entire family. I'm also selling them around the Kent area. But obviously I'm happy to post a little bit further away as well. Obviously I'll leave some links down below. So got an Instagram account that you can see what kind of patterns and styles I'm going to be using as well. I've looked online and I found quite a few videos and I've sort of combined the best of each one. And I think the one that I'm going to choose today, it's not adjustable, but it is, if that makes any sense. What I managed to find, actually found these online quite a while ago. These elastics, they're actually quite nice because they're slightly frilly and they're a little bit shiny as well, which is very pretty if you're making ladies ones. But they're so stretchy that actually, if it is a little bit too large, you can always just put a knot in it, and it will actually sit quite nicely, just like that. If you have any of the thicker kind, which I think I do in here, I do like using these. This is what I'll use just for my family, because obviously if it is too big I can adjust it for them. But this stuff, you can't really, you can try and put a knot in it, but it's really chunky, and it doesn't work quite as well. So I definitely recommend getting some like softer, thinner elastic. Again, I'll put links below. And then I just went through all of my bits of material that I had at home, and actually I had quite a few cut-offs, which was great. So I've just been making quite a few of those. So yes, if you want quite a simple kind of mask, I mean, online some of them say, oh yeah, this is really quick, it only takes 8 minutes, and I spend 25 minutes on one. So yeah, definitely put at least 45 minutes to one side, because of course you still need to measure out, you know, cut all your material. And of course you don't have to use an iron if you're just making some masks for the people in your own home, but obviously I'm selling them as well, so I want to make them look as neat as possible, and I do find it easier just at the beginning and during as well, just to give it a nice press down, especially since some of my material has just been kind of shoved into a bag. Those are the bits of material that I'm just using for my family, bless them. You can have all the crumpled stuff, but all the nice stuff I'm going to sell to other people. Anyway, so yes, I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to make a mask, and then of course I'm going to show you another hairstyle as well. Okay, so please ignore all of this mess. I do apologise. Okay, so to start off with, this is going to be an adult woman's mask. So it is 9 by 7. So 9 by 7, and you want 2 pieces of this. I'm also going to put a lining in the middle as well, which I'm going to use here. I'm just going to pin it on, and then I'm going to cut all the way around it. Okay, so now I've cut the lining, I then want to make sure that the right side is facing upward. And yeah, I think that's already upwards. So great, I can just leave those together. Linings underneath, and then I've got this on top. Now we want the elastic. I do 6 inches. Okay, and then with the elastics, you want to pin it on this side. So I'm leaving roughly around 1/2 inch just from the bottom. Now some people have these little clips that they can clip them on, but I don't. So I'm just going to use a pin and just do it like that. Now obviously make sure it's not twisted before you pin on the other side. And don't worry if you feel it stretching, that's going to happen because obviously later on we're going to put the pleats in, and so then this won't stretch as much. Now you've got your elastic on, this is when you want your top piece, and you want the right side down. So right side and right side. They are kissing each other is what I say. Anyway, it helps me remind myself which way the fabric's got to be. And then some people just take this pin out and then repin all of them together. But I always find that a little bit difficult, especially once you've already pinned it in place. So I like to put a couple more pins around just to keep it nice and secure. So I'm going to put 2 just beside where the elastics are. One either side. Now as I'm pinning either side of the elastics, I'm actually making sure I'm going through the elastic. It's just another way to make sure that it's going to stay in place. And then obviously we're going to be sewing just a little bit further up, so we won't actually catch any of this elastic underneath. Well, hopefully we won't. Now's the sewing time. This is a very old sewing machine. My grandmother actually gave it to me. But I love it and it still sews, so I'm happy with it until it gives up the ghost. When you're first sewing, I'm going to start from this end, go all the way round and then to the top end. But this I'm going to leave as a gap because obviously we need to turn it inside out. Also at the very beginning, I'm going to stitch a few times and then I'm going to back stitch as well to really hold it in place, so when we turn it inside out it won't pull too much. Also when you come over towards the elastic, you actually want to back stitch on this one as well. Obviously the elastic is going to be the one that gets most of the tension, so we want to make sure that's really going to hold in place. Okay, and now I'm just going to sew roughly around here, and then I'm going to stop, and that will be our gap. Now, obviously with the loose bits, usually if you just yank on one of the sides, it will pull the loop from the other side and you can bring it through. So I've tied these off now. With the edges, I've seen people that just cut straight across like that, but I do prefer a little bit of a different way. So I'm just going to cut just about halfway before you actually reach the sewing line, and on the other one like that. And then I'm going to just cut them off like so. So that's the kind of pattern that it creates. For me, I just find this easier when you're turning it through. It's a nice point, and I find it easier when I'm trying to poke my finger, or sometimes I use a pencil. Okay, so I've done all corners. Also, if you don't know the reason for this, on the corners it's always very bulky, and when you try and push it through the other side, it won't be as pointy, it will be more rounded. If that's the look you're going for, then that's absolutely fine. Okay, so now I'm going to bring them through. So you can see you've got your elastic through there. What I tend to do when turning it inside out is I like to get both corners in my fingers, just like so, and then bring them through. Seems to make it a little bit easier anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to bring out the corners up here, pull on the elastic slightly, and then just bring out each corner like so. So this is when I like to use the iron just to make it nice and flat. So obviously got your little opening there. I'm just going to pull it together, and that's what I'm going to iron down. It's just another way to keep it in place before you actually sew it all. And then I'm just going to quickly go over the whole thing. Now we're going to make our pleats. Now it's ready to sew. With ladies, I always like to use the zigzag effect. I actually find it's easier, especially when you're collecting these, because it's quite a thick piece of material to now go through, and I just find when you're doing the zigzag, it just makes it a little bit easier. But for the men's designs, I tend to do straight along the top and then just a little bit of a zigzag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to knot them both together, but I'm actually going to sew them back into the fabric, just so they aren't floating around randomly. And then, as I said, I'm pretty much going to sew it back in, but I'm going to sew it under one of the pleats so you won't be able to see them. And bring them all the way through. There we are. So up here it looks nice and neat, and then you've got the tail underneath that we're just going to cut as close as possible. So if you can still see the tail, I like to just move the fabric around a little bit, and as you can see it's pretty much gone under the material and you can't see it anymore, so it just makes it nice and neater on that side. There is your lovely mask made, and I will now model it for you. Okay, so I'm also going to show you another hairstyle. All you're going to need is 4 clips. I was very lucky, I managed to get these in Nepal as well. They're beautiful, they're sort of like almost like little butterfly clips. So this hairstyle is great in the morning if you've just washed your hair and it's still a little bit damp. Usually when I'm doing bums, I would have maybe 15 or 16 hairpins, which I don't mind doing if I have that extra time. If not, this is just fantastic. I mean, it's pretty secure, and the fact that my hair is so long and all I have to do is put some clips in, for me is absolutely fantastic, and it's just an easier way to shove up my hair really, really quickly.
about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
If we are one grain of sand in the middle of the ocean, can you try to understand how a touch can cause explosions? Rise up, I'm too great to be landed. Rise up, we're too great to be standing.
They ain't never gonna stop us, fly at 'em like choppers, better cook those risks, cold blood in my fists, we fire starters, one out of a million will reach those heights, always get a feeling that I won't deny, not work, never could toss, look in my eyes, I'm on the rocks, rise. Rise, cutting my size, trying to make sense of it all comprised. Your eyes, spinning these skies. Never stuck down, feeling paralyzed, but I'm up now. We all too late to fall. Yeah, anyone coming, I'ma lift them all. Never look down when this risk involved. I got guts, gotta learn, I gotta wish it all. Ain't got no feelings, we just floating. Yeah, I'm that grain of sand that made it out the ocean. A couple milli now, I'm causing a commotion. I've been coasting, hear my name around the world like an explosion.
So rise up, rise up. We are the apocalypse, and a bell that keeps us floating. As we fly above the stars, the hype won't scare us falling. So rise up, I'm too great to be landed. Rise up, we're too great to be standing.
They ain't never gonna stop us, fly at 'em like choppers, better cook those risks, cold blood in my fists, we fire starters, one out of a million will reach those heights, always get a feeling that I won't deny, not work, never could toss, look in my eyes, I'm on the rocks, rise.
say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning, you wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved, someone to clean up and tame. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you think I would look pretty on your arm once you cover up my bruises and battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face, got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you'll break your back to make me feel again, suffocate to make me breathe again, lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread where the angels fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone, so save your judgment cause you just don't know. But some things never change, never change. Oh, they say I should feel guilty and change my ways, leaving crumpled bodies in my wake. Swear I didn't mean to make them break, swear I didn't mean to make them break. But they're so delicate and so mundane, and they keep coming like a moth to flame. Oh, some things never change, never change. You'll break your back to make me feel again, suffocate to make me breathe again, lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came. You make me move, you make me dance, you make my heart beat super fast. You lift me up, you make me laugh. Baby, you're the best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. Best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. Best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. You make my heart beat super fast. Super fast. Super fast.
You make my heart beat super fast.
What does love feel like? What does love feel like? You're the best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. Best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. Best I ever had. You're the best I ever had. You make my heart beat super fast.
You make my heart beat, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat super fast. You make my heart beat, you make my heart beat super fast.
but they won't keep us out of sight. We're all dreamers, dreaming of the good life, but there's nothing that nice on the cards for us. It's alright though, cause we can have a good time, and we don't worry if it's dangerous. So take this ride and hold on tight. We're gonna live forever now, and side by side, we don't need light. We're gonna live forever now. You feel that touch and all the love, it makes us live forever now. We don't look up, we rise above. We're gonna live forever now. Wish from shooting stars, camp out those fancy cars, down by the boulevard, nobody cares tonight. We know that life is hard, not like the movie stars, but we know who we are in our broken paradise.
Wilted bodies slowly covering the light. Pull the trigger every night to stay alive. Hope is wishing, but you're running out of time. If I could only read your mind. Read your mind. If I could only read your mind.
Try to shout, but all my words don't make a sound. Tiny pieces of the puzzle on the ground. Try to fix it, but you do this every time. If I could only read your mind.
Read your mind. If I could only read your mind. Here we are, a million stars floating over our heads. Beating hearts, falling apart, staying up to forget. But baby, we'll fall. We all go dancing down
federal.
give it to me. I wanna hear you scream, scream out my name. I wanna hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. I need to hear you scream, scream out my name. I need to hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. Can't take for granted where I've been. Went through hell and back again. Scars on my mind, the bruises and skin. I lean on you when times get tough. When they drag me down, you pick me up. So let it all go, give it to me. I wanna hear you scream, scream out my name. I wanna hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. I wanna hear you scream, scream out my name. I need to hear you scream, like I can't be replaced. I need to hear you.
So I've come to the conclusion, just a rotten piece of fruit. So I'll end up dying slowly, rotting away. See, I just want to be able to climb without a fall, to get out of this mazeland and run. Please strike me thunder, let me get closer to the light. Please strike me thunder, so I can be free. So I've come to the conclusion, I'm just one man amongst thousands. In this world I'll allow them, sure they'll do fine without me. The chemicals in my head don't work as yours, 'cause every piece of road is a little bit of happiness. And every kind of love causes a little bit less regret. Please strike me thunder,
I never wanna hold you back. I wanna give you every chance to make it, to make it. I'm afraid if our love collides, you'll leave me alone tonight. 'Cause I'm changing and I'm breaking. Is this over? I'm scared to ask these questions, 'cause I know that you'll reject my love. Moving slower, frozen to these pieces without a shoulder to cry on. And I'll stand against all enemies, your enemies.